Are you overcomplicating the guitar? I think sometimes I do. I know I do. And I feel like probably a lot of us do as well. In this lesson, we're going to cut through the distractions, quite literally, and really build chords all over the fretboard. John here with the Blues Guitar Institute, and today's Tuesday Blues, we're getting back to basics. So we've got one string on the guitar. That's about as basic as you can get. And I really want to focus your attention to what we're going to do up and down this one string. We're going to build out the major scale, okay? So we're going to start with this E note. We're going to build an E major scale from here, 2nd fret on the 4th string, okay? Now, what you need to know in order to do this, well, it's helpful to know the note names, but I'll call them out as we go along, and if you're really practicing your neck theory, you should be able to follow along, but it's handy to know that here. The other thing to know is that a scale is simply just an arrangement of intervals, and intervals are just the difference, the distance, the musical distance between two pitches. So from here to here is an interval, and we give it a name because this distance has a different sound than this distance. All right, now I'll call that out as we go along and build out our major scale, but the scale is really all about the pattern. And what we're going to do is go from our root. This is an E note, so we're moving up from our E root. We're moving up a whole step, just means 2 frets, okay, to our major 2nd, okay? Sometimes you just hear the numbers. Root for where you start, 2nd, okay? Then we're going to move up another whole step, so 2 more frets to our 3rd, all right? Also major 3rd. And then we're going to move up again to the 4th. This is just a half step, okay, to the 4th. Then we're going to move up another whole step to the 5th, sometimes called the perfect 4th, perfect 5th, okay, or 4th and 5th for short. And that is here at the 7th fret, sorry, 9th fret, and then we're going to move up again a whole step here, 11th fret, and now we're at the 6th, the major 6th, and then we're moving up one more time, a whole step. Now we're at fret 13, and that whole step gets us to our 7th, our major 7th, and that's it. These are the 7 tones. Now, we normally finish off by moving up another half step to the root, but that's an E, right? 2 frets above here, 2 frets above the open. That's our octave, E, E. All right, so let's recap that. It's really important that you learn this scale inside and out. E, 2nd, is F sharp, G sharp is the 3rd, and then A is our 4th, B is our 5th, C sharp is the 6th, and then D sharp is the 7th, and then, of course, our E. Now, if you haven't really focused on a scale using one string, I highly recommend it. There's quite a lot that you can do and a lot that you can learn when you've just got one string to produce a melody with, okay? But our goal for this lesson is to build chords. Now, it comes from this major scale. And when you build chords from the major scale, it's said to be diatonic. So we're building out the diatonic chords. And if you think about it, there's only going to be 7 of them, okay? So we're going to start with an E, and we're going to build out 6 more chords. But to do that, we've got to play more than one note at a time, and I'm a little bit limited on that right now. So bear with me. I'll be back with a couple more strings. All right, much better. Now we got 3 strings. That's 2 less than Keith Richards, but let's see what we can do with these. Well, what we're going to do is start with this E note, and we're going to build the first chord in our diatonic chord set, okay? And it's going to be E major. That makes a lot of sense. We're dealing in E, so we need to build our E chord. And the way to do it is to harmonize the scale. Now, you could do this the long way, and I've got a worksheet that you can download along with this lesson to help you do that. And quite honestly, the long way is what really helped it to stick in my brain. But we'll do a little shortcut here. All you really have to do to find the 3 notes is start with your 1, start with this root note of the chord, okay? And then skip a note, so we're not going to play that as a chord tone, but we're going to move up and there is the third that we're going to include, okay, and that is a G sharp. And then from here, we're going to skip the next note. Remember the scale. So we're skipping this note and coming up to the next note. This is the fifth note in the scale, B. All right, so it's really just root, skip a note, third, skip a note, fifth. Okay, now we can arrange these on those three strings. All right, so we've got a root, third, fifth. And if you think about it, and if I had all 6 strings here, you could see quite clearly a regular, open position E major chord, but it's really, at its core, these 3 notes, the triad, all right? Now, let's continue harmonizing this scale. We move up here to our F sharp. Let's skip a note, so we're gonna skip this and move to the A here. And then if we skip the next note, we're gonna move from the B, we're gonna move to this C sharp. So we need F sharp, A, C sharp. And we can do the same thing starting from our G sharp. We're going to skip a note, move to B, then we're going to skip another note and move to a D sharp. So our notes here are going to be G sharp, B, D sharp. Again, just finding them in that order on these 3 strings. Then we're going to do the same thing and find the notes of our next chord, which is going to be A. And we'll go through the process on the worksheet, but what you're going to come up with is an A, a C sharp, and an E. Then we go through the same process. You're going to come up with the 5th chord, the 5th chord in the sequence. This is chord 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th chord here is a B. There's our root. So we've got our B, and then on the 3rd string, we're going to play our D sharp, and then we're playing our F sharp for B. All right. Then we move up and do this chord here. So that's going to be our C sharp. Let's build the 7th chord together because it's a little bit tricky. If you can get this one, you can probably get them all, but we're going to start the same and really repeat the same process. We're going to start with our D sharp here. This is the 7th and final note in the scale, and we're going to, let's shift down here, we're going to skip the E and move up to the F sharp. All right, so hold this in your mind real quick. D sharp, F sharp, and then we're going to skip the G sharp and move to A. So we need a D sharp, F sharp, A. D sharp, F sharp, A. That's our diminished chord. And then if you did it again, you would get the E major chord up an octave, but all you really need to do is just make the same shape here above the 12th fret as we did here. Now, just shape in terms of the way the notes are arranged. If I finger it like this and bring it up, might be a little more apparent that this is the same, just an octave up. All right, so let's play through the 7 chords. E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A, B, C sharp minor, and then we've got our D sharp diminished before our octave. Now, all of those chords sound really good together, and it's because of their diatonic relationship. They were derived from the major scale. So don't forget, that's where we started, with the major scale. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E for the octave. And then as a quick recap, we stacked thirds here just by skipping a note and then adding that to the stack to get our triads. All right, that's it for this lesson. I'm gonna go put on the rest of the strings to this guitar, but before you take off, be sure to grab the guide that will walk you through how to harmonize the scale of a given key and then pull the diatonic triads out from the harmonized scale set, okay? It's a whole lot of good information. I hope you take me up on that, and I hope you really learned something from this lesson. If you did, be sure to leave a comment and let me know below. I love hearing from you guys. And then also, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the red subscribe button for the YouTube channel. That really helps me out. And then, yeah, you know it. I'll be back here next Tuesday for another lesson. Until then, practice this stuff and play on.